Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It begins in Mexico with famous Federale Machete en route to rescue a young woman held captive. He's described as the CIA, FBI and DEA all rolled into one mean burrito who wields a machete sometimes much larger than is necessary. Against orders, Machete drives into the bad guy's headquarters, getting his partner hit by a hail of gunfire and crashing through the front door. After apologizing to his partner's corpse, Machete begins slicing up the assailants who try to stop him from rescuing the kidnapped victim. While attempting to escape with the unclothed woman, she sticks her rescuer in the leg as she works for the crime lord and Machete's former partner Torrez. He rewards the girl with a bullet to the head and expresses his disappointment that Machete is the only Federale who doesn't take his bribe money. He cuts down Machete's wife and daughter, but instead of giving him the same treatment, Torrez just sets the place on fire and leaves him to burn inside. 3 years later, at a small day labor site in Texas, Agent Sartana from Immigrants doing surveillance on a woman named Luz who she suspects is actually a human smuggler known as Shea. Nearby, an unsanctioned fight's taking place and the promoter calls out Machete, offering him $500 to take on the champion. Needing the money, he accepts the challenge, and with taco in hand he doesn't throw a single punch, just dodges all his opponents while Booth watches. The fighter strikes a metal beam and Machete collects all of his winnings to pay off his taco debt that he owes to Luz. When Sartana approaches, all of the illegal workers including Machete scatter at the site of immigration. She argues with Luz over the morality of sending her own people back to poverty in Mexico, while Machete's picked up by Booth looking to hire. He wants our hero to assassinate Senator McLaughlin, who despises illegal immigrants and wants to build an electrified fence on the border. Unbeknownst to his voters, he goes with a militia fronted by the wealthy Texan landowner Von Jackson to hunt illegals sneaking across the border and capture the footage. The cold-hearted Von then shoots a pregnant woman as if she delivered her baby on American soil it would be entitled to citizenship. Booth offers Machete a case of money to kill the senator before taking him to a room filled with weaponry and handing him a rifle for the job. His bodyguard tells him to fire a shot from a roof at a specific time, but Machete takes a machete anyway on his way out. Booth then drives down to a crack house and kills everyone inside before recovering an incapacitated blonde that he drags back to his car. He berates her over her lifestyle as the girl's his daughter April, while Machete goes to Luz's taco stand and gives her all of the money to help needy families. He goes to the senator's public appearance, but while lining up a shot, Booth's bodyguard shoots Machete in the shoulder before wounding the senator in the leg. Machete attempts to escape the scene but gets captured on the street by two of Booth's men disguised as police officers. They take him to their boss, but since they aren't the real cops, they forget to frisk Machete, who runs the driver through, causing them to crash. Meanwhile, Booth gets on a conference call with Torrez to tell him that McLaughlin's sure to be re-elected. As they watch the news coverage of today's events, Torrez notices that the hired assassin was Machete and demands that Booth finish him off. The real shooter goes to confirm the kill, but Machete's being taken to a hospital that's part of the network discreetly treating illegal immigrants. They keep his location a secret while the doctor discovers that the bullet rebounded off another bullet that was already lodged in Machete's shoulder and he's actually unharmed. The sniper arrives with his henchmen, but Machete uses a stretcher propelled by an O2 tank to sneak past them and attack them from behind. He swings around surgical instruments, killing a number of them before grabbing a goon's intestines and using it as a rope to rappel out a window to freedom. He's found by Luz, who takes him back to her house and cracks eggs underneath the bed so that the vapors help him recover. She says that she made up the mythical revolutionary hero to give her people hope before getting into bed with the machete. Meanwhile, Sartana's at home when she gets a call from her boss about the shooting and recognizes Machete from the taco stand. She runs his picture through the police database and identifies him as ex-Federale with overly impressive credentials. Booth's sniper's also on the hunt and forces one of the day laborers from where he first met Machete to give him Luz's address. When he arrives, he sends his henchmen inside as Machete wakes up alone with the egg having cooked under the Texas heat. He kills the first man who attempts to enter, then all of the ones who do so. The sniper tosses a brick of C4 into the house and drives away. Sartana arrives as Machete barely manages to escape the explosion and one of the roasted bodies land on the agent's car. She orders Machete inside by gunpoint, but as they're driving away he pulls the handbrake and quickly disarms her. They go back to Sartana's home where the agent promises that she can get Machete documentation, but he'll need to say who ordered the hit. He refuses to tell her Booth's name since he wants to deal with the problem himself, and then gives her gun back as a show of trust. After he leaves, Sartana returns to tailing Luz, where she catches her and some laborers with an impressive arsenal of high-tech firepower. Luz reveals that the garage is the headquarters for the network, where she makes sure immigrants don't just make it into the country safely but become productive members. Julio asks if Sartana's going to blow the whistle on their operation, but she just walks away quietly like she didn't see anything. Elsewhere, Machete goes to a church where Padre's a friend and former Federale who retired to become a man of the cloth. They watch the news where Machete learns Booth's identity, so Padre allows him to take the hearse to go around his place and find out why he hired him. He grabs some gardening tools so that he can pose as a new gardener and sneak inside past the guards. They realize how stupid it is to let him inside, but when they turn around, Machete knocks them both out and stashes their bodies in a nearby bush. He finds April and her mother making a video in the pool, and the pair invite the ruggedly handsome gardener to join. After making a tape and loading the girls' unconscious bodies into the back of the hearse, Machete steals evidence from the house, leaves the camera for Booth, and brings the girls back to Padre, as the church is always looking for new people. Booth arrives home to see the footage of his family with Machete and is told the truth about who the laborer is from Torrez. He orders his employee to strangle his bodyguard for constantly failing to kill Machete and calls the deadliest professional hitman in Texas, Osiris, to deal with the problem. Osiris enters the church with his henchmen, but Padre sees them coming on the cameras and takes out all of the henchmen with a pair of shotguns. But the quick hands Osiris shoots him in the leg, leaving Padre helpless until Booth arrives soon after. The pair crucify the priest, hoping that he'll tell them Machete's location, but Padre tells them nothing and takes it to his grave. Meanwhile, Luz is leaving the garage when she's confronted by Vaughn, who isn't there to find Machete and just wants to start a war by shooting the revolutionary in the eye. That night, Machete brings all the evidence that he has to Sartana, where they discover Booth visits the church to confess fantasizing about April. The assassination attempt on the senator was a ruse to gain enough public sympathy to generate votes for McLaughlin's future presidential campaign, and Torrez is behind everything. He wants the electrified border fence built to gain a complete monopoly control over all contraband being brought in from Mexico. The two go to bed, and in the morning assassins enter the house, so Machete and Sartana spring into action, killing all of the intruders, including the masked leader, which Sartana sticks in the eyeball with her stiletto. Knowing that they'll be going after his accomplices, they return to the church but find Padre already dead and crucified. This causes Machete to send Booth a message saying that he just messed with the wrong Mexican as he returns to the home to take out the guards. The guards that he beat up last time just surrender when they recognize the intruder and give Machete a device to locate Booth. Meanwhile, Sartana notices security cameras in the church and takes evidence of Padre's murder to a local news correspondent. When McLaughlin meets with the press outside of the hospital to garner sympathy votes, the reporter's there to show everyone the video footage of Booth murdering Padre. It also reveals the tape of McLaughlin killing the young Mexican couple with Von Jackson, so he flees in his limo with Booth. They begin to argue, so the angry senator shoots Booth, leaving him mortally wounded before carjacking a cab when their driver runs away. Machete arrives at the scene but finds himself late to the party, and Booth begging to know where April and June are. Machete answers that they're with God and leaves Booth to die, thinking that his wife and daughter are already dead. Meanwhile, they finally wake up in Padre's office, and while June learns that her husband's dead, April fixates on a nun's habit on a hook. McLaughlin arrives at Vaughn's compound but is taken hostage by his militia, who holds the senator responsible for revealing their crimes. Meanwhile, Machete goes searching for Luz and finds Julio's the acting leader of the network ever since she was taken out. He takes Machete to a chop shop where his co-workers have all of the weapons from Luz's garage and are preparing for the war that Vaughn started. At the same time, Sartana arrives at the taco stand and rallies the workers to fight for their rights to remain in the country. They all mobilize but don't notice that Sartana's captured by Torrez before she can join them. Phones ring out across the city as all of the Mexican day laborers come together to form a low-riding army to march on Vaughn's compound. The convoy of revolutionaries wait at the front gates until Julio's car launches a hood-mounted RPG that blow them open, allowing them entry. They charge the base with everything from guns to gardening tools, and Vaughn's firing squad is forced to postpone the execution. They join the battle between their militia and all manner of day laborer when an ambulance arrives with the attractive nurses and Luz dressed with an eye patch. The heavily armed Cyclops saves Machete from being killed before crashing through the side of the compound to rescue the senator. She says that if he wants to live, he needs to become Mexican, so McLaughlin dresses like the revolutionaries and runs outside shooting at his former comrades. Suddenly he gets struck by a hearse and outsteps the habit-wearing April to shoot the senator in the chest and avenge her father. She then shoots the weapons out of all of the fighters' hands, causing them to pack up and leave since the nun told them to do so. Having lost the battle, Vaughn attempts to flee in his truck, but Luz was hiding in the back seat and gets her own revenge for the eye. Machete's confronted by Torrez, who's brought along his hostage Sartana to watch them duel, and everyone else crowds around as well. Torrez's katanas face off against Machete's machetes, with neither wanting anyone to step in and help. Eventually Torrez disarms and throws Machete to the ground, but as he prepares to behead him, Machete picks up his weapon and impales him through the torso. He pretends like it's just a flesh wound but reckons that he'll see Machete in the afterlife before committing harakiri. With the enemy defeated, the victorious revolutionaries all raise their weapons as the heroes of the battle stand atop cars and receive their praise. Sometime later McLaughlin awakens having been wearing a bulletproof vest given to him by Luce and staggers to the border trying to escape into Mexico. He's located by Vaughn's remaining men who survive the compound and stumbles into the electric fence where he bites his tongue and is unable to speak properly. Due to that the darkness and McLaughlin still wearing the laborer's clothing, they just assume he's an illegal and welcome him to America with an execution. The final scene shows a free Machete riding down the road when a police car pulls him over. Agent Sartana steps out to say that she got Machete citizenship before climbing onto his bike and riding off together. And the movie ends.
Machete will return in Machete Kills.